Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
In healthcare leadership, the loudest voice often seems the most influential. But what if true power lies in quiet resonance? Meet Marvel Fortaleza Arenal, MSN, MHA, RN. Her journey from a bedside nurse in the Philippines to executive leadership at Jackson Health System defies conventional wisdom about power and influence. Marvel discovered that leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about leading with intention, said Marvel. Her approach shows that strategic silence can cut through the noise that many executives mistake for influence. In an industry where compliance is often seen as a constraint, Marvel turned it into a catalyst for transformation. She embodies what happens when you lead quietly, but change everything, proving that compliance can drive innovation. This isn't just another leadership story. It's a masterclass in how healthcare's most powerful brands whisper rather than shout. Discover more on the Follow the Brand podcast with Grant McGaugh. Available now.
We realize that really there's nothing impossible if you set your mind to it and use the tools and resources that are available to you.
Welcome, everyone, to the Follow Brand Podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaugh, and I am so happy, so very, very happy to be talking to my colleagues, my peers, my friends over at Jackson Health System. And we've been going through a program, my program, the Brave Framework for Brand Strategy. And I've talked to Mabel, and I'm going to tell you something. Talking to Mabel, I just had to sit back a lot of times and just listen as she detailed her story about why she is in the field of healthcare and why she's making a difference in what she does. So I'd like Mabel first to introduce herself. We're going to have a great conversation about this journey. So Mabel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Grant. Thank you so much for having me this afternoon, and I am so grateful to be part of this program. My name is Marvel Arenal. I'm the Corporate Director for clinical practice and regulatory compliance here at Jackson Health System. So one of the things that my leader had really have a goal for us is to develop us, which is why I am here, but I'm very fortunate and grateful to be part of this program. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome, very welcome. And we want to start off with your journey about, if I might ask, because you come from a far off world as far as I've never been there, and I want to know a little bit more about the Philippines and things of that nature, and your world and where you're from. So let's start with your journey. Tell us one defining moment from your early days as a nurse that shapes how you lead today.
Well, my journey began in the Philippines. I worked there as a labor and delivery nurse. It was such a privilege to be part of life's most vulnerable yet precious moments. Those experiences taught me that real leadership is rooted in empathy, in attention to detail, and unwavering care. But moving here to the US, however, brought a whole new chapter that shaped me even more. I took a humbling step back. I worked as a certified nursing assistant in a nursing home while adapting to a new country and studying tirelessly to pass the NCLEX. So those experiences really reminded me of resilience that is required to start over, and the dignity in serving others. And it instilled adaptability, integrity, and strength in me, qualities that still up to this day I uphold. And it also reminded me that no matter where the journey begins, it's the dedication and heart you bring to each moment that defines your path and your leadership.
Well, you've certainly done that. You have defined leadership in such a way. One of the things we work through is coming up with a brand tagline. What I think is so apt, and this tagline is MA, lead quietly, change everything. And when I think of you, you emulate everything around that. Now, you've made a remarkable shift from bedside, as you talked about, to boardroom. The question I have for you is twofold, but what mindset or habit helped you make the transition successfully?
It all began with curiosity, actually, and a willingness to embrace new opportunities. I vividly remember asking our nurse educator one time, she was about to go on maternity leave. I asked her if she enjoyed what she did. That simple conversation ignited my passion for education and inspired me to volunteer to step into her role while she was away. It was during that time that I discovered how much I loved guiding and empowering others, helping them grow in their skills and confidence. That experience was my first glimpse into the transformative power of education, not just for others, but for myself as well. And then when I later led my first clinical trial at West Kendall Baptist Hospital, my passion for education expanded even further. I realized that research is, at its core, a form of teaching. It's about uncovering evidence, translating it into an actionable knowledge, and sharing it to improve care and outcomes. But whether I'm mentoring nurses or implementing evidence-based practices, I see education and research as two sides of the same coin. Both are driven by curiosity, collaboration, and a commitment to make a lasting impact. I never realized it at that time, but my passion for teaching, my eagerness to learn, and drive to uplift others allowed my leaders to see something in me that I hadn't yet recognized in myself. Their faith in my potential, coupled with the confidence I slowly built through the experiences, gave me the courage to take a leap from the bedside to the boardroom, grounded in purpose and clarity.
Well, I tell you one thing, and you're very, very modest in your approach because you've built a brand about quiet strength and strategic precision. And as I stated, your brand tagline, lead quietly, change everything. What does that mean to you now?
It means leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about leading with intention. It's also about observing, understanding, and making decisions that create meaningful impact. For me, quiet strength is steady, not flashy. And true leadership doesn't need to share or to shout to inspire change. Instead, it's about building trust, empowering others, and staying grounded in purpose. When challenges arise, quiet strength helps me to stay calm and clear, guiding teams with trust and focus rather than grand gestures. It's a reminder that leadership isn't about demanding attention, it's about earning respect through thoughtful, deliberate actions.
Mm. And we went through this whole process, and I found that you live what I call it's like almost a cul-de-sac. Some people live at an intersection. You live at a cul-de-sac, meaning there's three things that come together that are unique to you and your particular personal brand. And that's around education, it's around clinical applications, and then compliance. You don't see those three things a lot. So, I mean, embodied in the same person, and that you can operate at those levels very effectively. So in your role at Jackson Health, you've led some pretty complex initiatives. Can you just walk us through like a moment where, compliance, culture, compassion, that trifecta really helped you in your leadership?
Well, one pivotal moment where compliance, culture, and compassion intersected in my leadership was when I started the Vascular Access Management Initiative. This is a big project. It's still an ongoing project, actually. The goal was clear: to ensure compliance with national standards and organizational policies to improve patient safety. However, the journey was far from simple. The staff were deeply rooted in long-standing practices they felt comfortable with, and the variety of products being used across the system added the challenge of creating and supporting consistent and evidence-based practice. When I led this initiative, it meant really connecting with leaders and stakeholders across the system. I knew how important it was to align their perspectives and get their support to make it a success. The conversations we had weren't just about presenting a clear strategy, they were also about truly understanding the different challenges and priorities for the team or the teams and organization as a whole. So I also made it a point to approach the teams with compassion, knowing that change can be overwhelming and even uncomfortable at times. My goal wasn't just to implement new standards, it was to guide everyone through the process with empathy and encouragement. While the journey isn't over, I've been able to foster collaboration, drive meaningful change, and uphold the commitment to create safer practices for our patients and teams alike by listening to their concerns and validating their experiences and building trust.
Welcome to Follow the Brand, where we turn leaders into legends. I'm Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM. Today, we're not just talking about executive presence, we're going to transform yours. Executive presence isn't about power, it's about trust. And here's the good news. You can build it at any level. Let's dive into how you can command any room you enter. Dr. Kimberly Long, CEO of California Nurse Leaders, shared a profound insight. The moment you try to prove your power is the moment you lose it. Executive presence is about building trust and authority without force. It's about creating an environment where people lean in to listen. You can achieve this by being authentic and consistent in your communication and actions. Consider Dr. Long during a hospital merger. She lowered her voice instead of raising it, and the room leaned in. Similarly, Sarah Chen, a project manager, used this technique in meetings. Within 3 months, her team began to emulate her style. Denzel Ross, now president of IU Health South Central, built his presence by identifying communication gaps and lifting others up. These examples show how presence spreads through subtle yet powerful actions. Your action step. In your next 3 meetings, try speaking 10% slower and 20% quieter. Watch what happens. For team leads, start delegating key responsibilities. Managers should use meetings as learning labs. Directors build cross-functional bridges. The key shift? Stop being the answer person. Start being the question person. This approach fosters growth and empowers others. Patrick Green, CEO of UF Health Jacksonville, uses a communication matrix to simplify complex ideas. His 3-step formula: start with impact, follow with insight, end with action. For example, instead of saying, "We need to upgrade our systems," he says, "We can save 50 lives this year by investing in this technology. Here's how." This clarity builds influence and trust. 3 common mistakes: reactivity, over-explaining, and imposter syndrome. When challenged, take a slow sip of water to respond thoughtfully. Instead of defending every detail, offer a headline first. Dr. Long still gets nervous before board meetings but prepares thoroughly. Remember, nervousness is energy. Executive presence isn't a destination, it's a practice. Start where you are, use what you have, and build from there.
When you deliver on on your promise, and you have the result you were looking for, and everybody in the room is like, "Wow, this is what we're talking about."
Healthcare is evolving rapidly, and future leaders must adapt swiftly. Dr. Sandra Dunbar Smalley shares her journey from clinician to chief learning officer, highlighting the essence of modern leadership. Transitioning from the clinical floor to the executive suite requires more than just expertise. Dr. Dunbar Smalley emphasizes that leadership today isn't about having all the answers. It's about fostering environments where innovation, learning, and human connection can thrive. While mentors provide invaluable guidance, sponsors are crucial for creating opportunities. Dr. Dunbar Smalley underscores the importance of both in navigating the path to leadership. Many leaders, including Dr. Dunbar Smalley, experience imposter syndrome. Yet, they continue to step forward, embracing challenges and growing through them. Discover the 3 pillars transforming healthcare leadership: leading self, leading others, and leading results. These principles guide leaders in creating impactful change. Don't just listen, lead. Subscribe now to Follow the Brand podcast.
Sometimes when you have a particular skill set, you may not even feel you can move in different avenues, but someone will see that. So I think there are 2 camps of people: those that really want to climb that ladder and they're very eager to do it. And then there are those that I call the reluctant leader, where doors may be open and you have to choose whether you're going to go into them. And so I'm in that second camp where I've really just accepted and felt very blessed that people have said, "I'd like to give you this opportunity."
I tell you, because you have that viewpoint, and more importantly, you have the experience, and that you can help others and you can translate to others as you take on these high visibility projects that you've been part of. One of the things that we discovered together is that in your brand blueprint, you're positioned as what we call a sage, right? Like a real good teacher, and then a caregiver, and you blend those 2 together as a hybrid. So the question is, how do you balance, your empathy with accountability in high stakes environments, just like you just described? How do you do that?
I believe finding balance starts with listening deeply and responding thoughtfully. I focus on building trust first, making sure there's a solid foundation to work from. And at the same time, I hold myself and others to high standards, but I never let go of compassion in the process. So it's all about staying grounded while keeping things meaningful and intentional. So for me, accountability is what makes sure we hit our goals, but empathy is what makes the journey to those goals meaningful and human. Especially in high pressure situation, I've learned that finding the right balance between the two leads me to lead with integrity. It's also how I build trust and inspire confidence in the teams I work with. It's about staying focused on results without losing sight of the people behind them.
Well, again, you're very modest in how you bring that together and the impact that you leave behind. My mother used to say, speak quietly but carry a big stick. And that's leaving the impact that you have. And you've been doing that very effectively for a while, especially when you transition from Baptist over to Jackson, and then what you're able to then become in the time that you've been with Jackson. Now you're committed to elevating compliance. You're big into compliance from a task to a strategy. My question is this, and here's the question. How do you see the role of compliance evolving in the next generation of healthcare leadership? Because you've been there, you've seen it, but you also seen the change that's occurred I think a lot of people don't understand compliance. So first, if you would, how do you define compliance? And then answer that question, how you see it evolving for the next generation of healthcare leaders.
Thank you, Grant. Yes, compliance really play a big role especially in clinical practice, right? Not just clinical practice, but I'm thinking compliance is now evolving into a key part of leadership. It is a real driving force for safety, equity, and excellence. So thinking about that, it's not just, about following rules anymore. It's about actively creating systems that put the well-being of both patients and staff front and center. So leaders will need to tie compliance to actual outcomes. And sometimes we are so focused on the outcomes, but then there are challenges along the way, and compliance really play a big role on the outcomes, making sure policies align with the real world impact they have. So it's really about changing how we see compliance from something obligatory to something full of potential, and recognizing it as a tool that can truly transform healthcare and not just, something to obey or follow because it's there.
You said that right. There's a reason why you have to, we're looking to be more compliant, because in a hospital environment, there are lives at stake. We don't do things the right way. The outcomes are as good as they could be. So we appreciate a person like yourself, behind those things, doing those things that make such a big difference in what you do. Now, one part of your journey that stood out was your time in research. And I think research is part of my BRAVE framework as well. We talk about brand identity, we talk about research, we talk about assets, we talk about visibility, we talk about execution. Research was big, for you. So how did that experience inform the way you approach evidence-based leadership?
Well, Grant, I could tell you that hearing research before in my earlier years in nursing, I get scared when I hear about research. But that really changed when I led the first clinical trial at West Kendall Baptist. From that experience, it taught me to never stop searching for answers, to continue to always ask questions. From that experience, I was able to understand that data can be a powerful tool. And it showed me how powerful evidence can be in guiding decisions and building the trust, right? Whether I was analyzing data or putting findings into practice, I saw how research could truly transform patient care. And it has made me a more thoughtful and intentional leader someone who leans on both insight and intuition to make a difference, really. So I do enjoy doing research, and I'm hoping and wishing that nurses especially are not gonna get scared anymore of being involved in research, because truly it is something that we can do to improve our practice and to strengthen our practice.
I believe in that. That's how you can limit certain things like infection, hospital-acquired infection, things of that nature, that you don't want to, come in with one thing and walk out with a whole nother thing, especially you do your research, as you said. I know I learned a lot, especially when I work with another client of mine named Joy McMillan, is that you could be in a hospital, you can touch a button in the elevator, and you don't realize that you're walking away with, unless there was some kind of infection control that was taking place, that the simple thing is just being in an elevator could expose you to certain things if you're not aware of these things, and how you, because of the, and luckily for you, you got the compliance, you got the research, you got the knowledge, like, hey, we need to do these things, and if we do these things, we can improve our total overall outcomes. Now, in my question around what you've done, you've gone through my program, you've gotten the brand assessment, you've got the skills gap analysis, you've gotten the brand blueprint strategy. So you now have a 360-degree view of your brand, your goals, and your market position. The question is, what was the most surprising insight that you came out of with your branding journey?
First, I want to tell you that I enjoyed your program, Grant. And second, the biggest surprise was really realizing how much leadership is about connection, not just with teams, but also with purpose. I learned who I am as a leader is not defined by titles, but by the impact I make and the trust I build. It was eye-opening to see how quiet, deliberate actions often carry the most weight, which is my style of leadership. So that's the biggest surprise really for me, confirming what I already have. So
I tell you, one of the biggest surprises for me, because it's always a two-way street, when we do these things. And I loved when we did the skills gap analysis, and then you really truly see yourself on a national scale, where you fit within the marketplace. And you can see, percentage-wise or point-wise, kind of where you line it. So some people think, oh, I'm far away from a goal. You might have a nice goal. Your goal was being in the compliance and getting to that, chief compliance officer level. Sometimes we feel like, well, that's a long way off. I have no way, of being able to, achieve that goal. It's a nice to have, but not within my scope, not within my framework of knowledge and experience. But when you work through the skills gap analysis and you begin to truly see yourself in relation to others that are either have on the same road or actually at that role, you then begin to see like, I'm not that far off. You see the observations, you see some of the tactics that you need to get there, and what formal training that might need to get to lift you up in certain percentage points and that type of thing. And yours, you came back very, very nicely in those aspects, where it kind of really showed me where you sit in relations to others, and it allows me to then deliver a blueprint strategy for yourself that you can deploy over time to get you to your desired state. I think that's wonderful.
Grant, I'm happy to share. I've got an unusual background for a healthcare executive, and I started off as an engineer. You mentioned Midwest. I spent my early years in Detroit with Chrysler Corporation. So I was an auto engineer, and I'm not sure you're going to find too many of those in the C-suite. So it was really developing those relationships. And as folks try to progress from early career to mid-career, from mid-career to the executive suite, it's those relationships. Of course, it's this delivery. You got to deliver. You got to hit those metrics. But forming those productive relationships. And there's so many ways of doing that.
In 2009, Grant McGaw faced a pivotal moment at his local general hospital. His father, Gerald McGaw, had passed away due to systemic inefficiencies. Dad always said systems fail when people forget there are human lives at stake, Grant recalls. This loss ignited his mission to transform inefficiency into empowerment, prioritizing people and progress, framework. Gerald McGaw's values inspired the BRAVE framework, guiding Grant's work. It stands for bold, resilient, authentic, visionary, and excellence. These principles shape strategy and culture, fostering team engagement and innovation. As one leader noted, it's transformed how we approach challenges and opportunities alike, highlighting the framework's profound impact on organizations. Since 2020, Grant's mission has evolved into a professional movement. He empowers businesses through strategic services, brand development, technology integration, and community impact. His tailored strategies help organizations grow and adapt, while his initiatives drive positive social change, reflecting his commitment to creating meaningful, sustainable growth. The Follow the Brand platform is a dynamic ecosystem of insights and inspiration. Through weekly podcasts, a TV series, and live events, Grant fosters a community of forward-thinking professionals. This platform connects leaders, sharing journeys and discovering new growth pathways, extending its reach across diverse industries. Grant's work transcends business growth, focusing on building a better future. His initiatives include technology solutions for efficiency, community anti-bullying programs for our youth, leadership development, and platforms addressing social challenges. These efforts underscore his dedication to innovation with purpose, mentoring the next generation. Looking ahead, Grant aims to expand innovative services, grow the Follow the Brand ecosystem, and strengthen leadership programs. His vision includes launching community-focused initiatives, ensuring a lasting impact. As Grant often says, we're not just improving systems, we're enabling dreams, capturing his commitment to transformative change.
So looking ahead, you've set some pretty bold, goals toward becoming a chief compliance officer. So what's one skill or mindset, let's say, that you're still working to master before you take that next step?
Thank you, Grant. There are a lot of things to work on, but what I'm really focused on right now is improving how I lead across silos, finding ways to connect departments and build a sense of shared purpose. So it could be a small scale or a bigger scale, but it's all about striking the right balance between humility and confidence, taking time to listen to different perspectives, and working toward cohesion in complicated environments. That's the focus of my approach for now. And true, really, when I started your program, I didn't have a North Star. I didn't have any plan, but thanks to this program, I was able to refocus and know what I want now and work for it. Right? being and eventually going to be a chief compliance officer. And you're saying it, and that's right. It's a big, bold goal. But with the blueprint that you have provided and helped me with to create, thank you so much. I'm really positive and looking forward to what I can achieve through that blueprint.
I tell you
Thank
one
you.
thing that really I loved talking to you about. You shared with me your personal story. Say, hey, one of the things that we do in the program, let's share, write your personal story, write how you see some of the pivotal moments in your life come through. And, this is how you transfer a lot of knowledge to myself so I get a better understanding. And then we go through this whole process, from the brand assessment, skills gap analysis to the blueprint strategy. And at that point, I'm able to deliver your actual story in in an elevated manner. And when I read that story to you, you said you were emotionally moved by that. It is your story. Tell the audience how you truly felt about that.
For me, that story was ordinary, right? But when it was put, and really I have to step back and hear my own story delivered by someone else, it gave me a different perspective. It really highlighted how I have pushed through and how resilient I was, moving from one country to another at that time, and really achieving now what I have achieved through the experiences and the people I worked with. So I would say that that story is so moving to me because now I'm seeing myself that it was not an ordinary step for me. Although at that time I was just focused on getting from one country to another so that I could practice from the Philippines to the US. And I was just focused on, removing all the stumbling blocks, I should say, in front of me and just overcoming everything that I have to overcome to get to the goal, which is not really far, right? I'm not looking really further, but just looking at what's just in front of me to get to that point where I would like to be. But looking back now, I should say that I have achieved so much and didn't even realize the direction of where I'm going. And if I have to look back to that time where I was, the first few weeks coming from Philippines, I am not imagining myself to be in this position where I am now.
This is wonderful. I'm glad you are sharing that because there's someone right now in the Philippines, in your position that you were in, some time ago. And if that person, now I want you to talk to that person, they're listening, they feel unseen or they feel stuck in what they want to do in their life or in their career. What one piece of advice that you would offer based on everything that you lived, led, and learned so far to give them the confidence to be able to take that leap of faith?
Well, I would say that wherever you are right now, honor that. Progress is not always a straight path, and starting over doesn't mean you've failed. So it's actually an opportunity to grow. Embrace resilience, trust your voice, and don't be afraid to start small. Just like what I did, it was scary, but it's not as scary when you are so focused. I didn't even remember how I have done the things I have done to truly succeed, so that I'll be able to reach the goal of, even, for example, preparing for NCLEX and passing the NCLEX. When I came here to the United States, I have to work as a CNA. And from there, I didn't really mind because I was looking forward to the time I will be working as an RN when I passed the NCLEX. So although it was hard for me with all the culture to acclimate myself to, I was able to accomplish and overcome those, even the fears that I have. So I would also say you are capable of more than you realize. And the most thing you can do is keep moving forward one step at a time. So
No, man, that's great. That's sage knowledge, part of that sage caregiver that you are. I just have one more ask. I have an ask of you because there are so many other healthcare executives that are out here, and they've seen my shows. They've listened. They haven't participated. You have been now one to kind of can help them to understand why this is important and then what did you get out of this right now? This is your first podcast with me. You've come out, you've done just a wonderful interview. So many people feel like, oh my God, I don't think I could do that. And I'm telling you, you first started out, you're like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And look at you now. You are just fantastic, right? Right? In telling your story, help them understand some of the benefits and how you feel about the interview you just did.
well, it made me realize that really there's nothing impossible if you set your mind to it and use the tools and resources that are available to you. So, for example, this program, uh, before I really don't have a direction. I know that I wanted to make a difference and just do my best in my role, but I didn't have a clear plan to what to do moving forward. Because I was used to being promoted, I guess, whenever my leaders recognized my potential and yeah, you're ready now, so let's move you on, or okay, there's a position that is open. I think it's good for you. But now realizing and seeing what I can do, it's very empowering. So this podcast, I have not imagined it because I'm not really a vocal person. I'm usually quiet. So being in a podcast is not in one of my goals really when I joined this program. I didn't imagine that this is part of the program, but I am glad that I got this exposure and to be able to really share my experiences and truly make an impact through my leadership, my experience, and even my personal life. So that's really the ultimate goal here, and not just exposing myself to the public.
Exactly. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing. Now, the public can reach you on LinkedIn. Can you tell them how to reach you on LinkedIn?
Well, you can look me up in LinkedIn, Mabel Fortaleza Arenal, and you will be able to see my profile there and my background, experiences, even my publications, research, and performance improvement projects I had throughout the years. So
That is wonderful, Mabel. And I thank you again for being on the Follow Brand podcast. I want to invite your entire network and all the people out in the Philippines. I know they're going to be tuning in to this particular episode, that they can see all the episodes of Follow Brand at 5-Star BDM. That is the number 5. That is star, STAR, BDM, B for brand, D for developmentinfomasters.com. I want to thank you again for being on the Follow Brand podcast, and so thankful for you to be a part of our 5-Star BDM brand development program, the Brave Framework. Thank you so much.
oh, thank you, Grant. I appreciate you, and I'm very grateful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Man, who's your favorite podcaster? Man, Grant, man. I love Grant's podcast. Well, who's Grant? I'm going to send you the link. I love
the interview. I've done a lot of these, and this is a great one. It's always great to talk to people who know what they're doing, and it's clear you're a great host, and you've done this many times before.
I feel great that we're having this conversation here. Met a new person in business who I previously didn't know.
It was an amazing podcast. Grant is an amazing interviewer. I learned a lot.
I really enjoyed this. Great questions, great talk track. Super appreciate you having me on. It's been a very fun episode to talk about a lot of things that I don't always get to dive into. So this has been a fantastic conversation.
I wouldn't be where I am here today, of course, not on this stage. However, not in my current business projection and my current business model without working with you.
Follow the Brand TV broadcast host, Grant McGaw, as he visits with top executives and entrepreneurs to find out their secrets of success with their personal brand. Follow the Brand TV broadcast host as he focuses on brand development to build better relationships, bring value to your business, relationships, and career. You will enjoy listening to each episode that is tailored to speak to you directly. If you're looking for this type of clarity in terms of building your brand, you have tuned into the right station. Each episode will help you to shape a conversation in the 5-Star BDM network of 20,000 professionals and become a springboard for your corporate engagement and business opportunities. Each guest will frame their story in the areas of personal branding, business development, career development, financial empowerment, and technology innovation. Grant McGaw explains why he is the CEO and owner of his own professional career. Grant is an accomplished business leader and entrepreneur who wants to give back to individuals to grow their personal brand strategy. Tune in as he weaves his story about new possibilities, while to you exceed expectations. If you love storytelling, this show will make for fun.
Anecdotally, from the moment I got into this position, the number of women, Black women, Haitian women, Black men, who have just come and said, you made me believe this is possible. Now I can speak too. And it's not about just appeasing, but they see the move towards inclusion, the need, the move towards someone who can represent their voice.
Brand yourself. You are your own ambassador. Make connections. Find yourself to be valuable, not only as a mentee, but as a mentor. Create that network so that you can have a system, a network of individuals where you can bounce ideas off of and just share from a creative perspective your thoughts on how to make this industry better. And that's what it really takes to get to the next level, is really connecting your passion with your purpose, and understanding your why.
It was never my intentions, I would say, to necessarily envision myself as being the senior vice president of audit and compliance when I first got here. But one thing was always, kept me, I guess, progressing through life is always putting my best foot forward. audit and compliance is not a revenue generating function per se. And we don't necessarily directly impact the bottom line of the organization. But from a mitigating and preventative standpoint, we may identify opportunities from an operational perspective or compliance standpoint that may lead to down the road impact indirectly in regards to from a cost saving perspective, and also a revenue enhancement opportunity.
What if your brand wasn't just seen but sought after? Imagine your business scaling, thriving, and transforming with the right partner by your side. At 5-Star BDM, we believe every brand has a story, and we're here to help you tell yours. Our signature Brave Blueprint is the foundation of everything we do. It starts with branding that reflects your unique story. We build relationships that expand your influence. Our approachability connects you with your audience. We focus on value creation that drives measurable results. Finally, execution turns your vision into reality. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a small business owner, or an emerging leader, our strategies are designed to help you stand out and achieve real results. Hear from those who have transformed with us. A healthcare entrepreneur shared, "With 5-Star BDM, I raised over $1 million in funding and built a brand that investors trust." A tech startup founder noted, "Their AI solutions transform my operations, doubling our efficiency in just 6 months." A retail leader said, "From a rebranded website to global PR, 5-Star BDM helped me triple my online visibility." With over 188 episodes of the Follow the Brand podcast and exclusive workshops, we're not just building businesses, we're inspiring leaders. We offer a comprehensive suite of services from branding to business development, public relations to cutting-edge technology. 5-Star BDM is more than a partner. We're your path to growth, visibility, and transformation. Ready to build, scale, and transform? Take the first step today. Visit www.5starbdm.com or schedule your free consultation. Call us today and empower your business with 5-Star BDM.
Okay, so picture this. You've got this amazing cardiologist, right? Yeah. Super skilled, but nobody really knows about them.
Yeah.
They're doing all this incredible work with preventative care, but they just haven't gotten the word out.
Happens all the time.
I know, right? So then imagine that same cardiologist.
Okay.
Makes this awesome personal brand video. It's got patient success stories, their unique approach to care.
Okay.
And suddenly, boom, they're not just another doctor in a sea of white coats.
Right. They stand out.
Exactly. They become the expert, the one everyone's looking for. And that's the power we're diving into today.
I like it.
We're going to unpack how to make that happen. And to help us out, we've got Grant McGaw's insights.
McGaw, he's the real deal.
Oh, absolutely. He's totally nailed this whole video thing for building your personal brand.
Especially on LinkedIn and YouTube, I see his stuff everywhere.
Right. Everywhere.
Yeah.
So think about it. You spent years honing your craft, becoming an expert.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Totally.
Yeah.
And today, we're going to break down how to translate all that into a video that screams you.
So people actually get it. What makes them different?
Yes. It's about making you the recognized authority in your field, whatever that field may be.
Makes sense. Because you can be the best in the world at something.
Right.
But if nobody knows it, what's the point?
Exactly. So it all starts with figuring out what McGaw calls your unique value proposition.
Love that term, unique value proposition.
Right. It's like, let's say you have 2 physical therapists, both amazing, both super qualified.
Okay, I'm following.
But one focuses on geriatric care, the other's all about sports injuries. See the difference?
Totally. Different patients, different needs.
Exactly. And their videos need to reflect that. So the big question is,
what's your superpower? What problem do you solve better than anyone else?
Bingo. Because it's not enough to just list your credentials.
Nobody wants to hear another boring resume rundown.
I know. And that's where McGaw's take on different video lengths comes in.
Okay. Short versus long form.
You got it. He says both are essential.
They each have their place.
Right? Like a short, punchy video on Instagram, that's your hook. Gets people interested.
Grabs their attention.
Exactly. Then you lead them to your website or maybe a longer YouTube video.
Where you can really dive deep, show off that expertise.
Perfect. So let's go back to our cardiologist. They know their niche preventative care. Now,
they can write that script.
Yeah. How do they translate their passion into something that hooks viewers right from the start?
Here's an idea. Let's say our cardiologist had this patient who totally reversed their pre-diabetic condition.
Wow.
Just through lifestyle changes. Amazing, right? So open the video with that.
Okay.
Show the patient happy, healthy hiking with their family. Bam! Emotional connection right away.
I can see it now.
Then bring in the doctor, talking about their approach.
Powerful.
And weave in visuals, healthy meals, exercise routines, make it dynamic.
See, I never would have thought to start a video that way.
Genius. And you know what else? People always stress about fancy cameras and equipment.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, good audio is king. Absolutely. If people can't hear you clearly, they're gone. No matter how pretty the picture is.
So a good mic is more important than a fancy camera.
100%. A decent smartphone and a lavalier mic, you're golden.
That's good to know. So audio's covered, stories nailed. What about the visuals themselves?
Okay, so we're talking preventative cardiology, right?
Yep.
Think about it. Anatomical diagrams, stats on heart disease prevention.
Okay. Starting to get the picture.
You could even overlay text during a patient testimonial, highlight key takeaways.
Oh, I like that.
Or use animation to explain a complex procedure. Keep it engaging.
That's so smart.
And here's another Magot essential: captions and graphics.
He talks about those a lot.
For good reason. They make your content accessible to everyone.
Including people with hearing impairments.
Exactly. But it's also about engagement.
Okay, how so?
Think about someone scrolling through their feed on mute.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
A strong graphic or a well-timed caption. That's what makes them stop and watch.
It's like those recipe videos. They show you every step, even if you can't hear.
Exactly. Visual storytelling.
Love it. So we've got this amazing video now.
Don't let it gather dust.
Right.
Well,
Magot's all about repurposing content.
take that longer YouTube video, slice it up into little nuggets.
Bite-sized pieces.
Perfect for Instagram, Twitter, little teasers, a patient story, a quick cholesterol tip,
Get people interested.
and lead them back to the full video.
Makes sense. So we've covered the story, the platforms, but how do we know if it's actually working?
Gotta track those metrics.
Okay. Beyond just view counts.
Yeah. Are people commenting, sharing, dig into the analytics?
See what's resonating.
Are they finding your video through search, or are they coming from social media shares?
That tells you what's working.
And what needs tweaking?
So it's not a one and done thing.
It's a process.
This has been so insightful. So to sum it all up.
It's not about vanity.
Right. It's about showcasing your expertise, building trust.
Becoming that go-to expert.
The leader in your field.
Think about something you're really proud of in your work. How can you bring that to life visually in a way that really connects with people?
That's the challenge.
And the opportunity.
Awesome stuff. Food for thought, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for breaking it all down.
My pleasure.
Ready to build a 5-star brand that stands out and captivates? Discover the art of crafting a strong and memorable brand identity. From choosing the right colors to making your brand unforgettable on social media, we guide you every step of the way. Learn how to design a brand that resonates deeply with your audience, ensuring they not only remember but love your brand. Whether it's enhancing visual appeal or mastering social platforms, we have got you covered. Dive into the world of impactful branding with us and see the difference. Follow the brand for more insights and expert tips. Don't just be seen, be remembered. Join us now. Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a super connector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you. Genius is coming. tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you.